Soren Kierkegaard is known as one of the founders of modern philosophy. Despite his dark views, Kierkegaard was a devout Christian. Although his philosophies are very profound and complicated, we can better understand them if we pretend to analyze the main character, Cher Horowitz, from the 1995 movie Clueless, using a Soren Kierkegaard lens. Let's analyze Cher. In the movie, Cher is a smart and wealthy, yet vain and materialistic high school student who comes into her own, and realizes how clueless she has been about the world around her. As you can imagine, Kierkegaard might really look down upon Cher at the beginning of the film. Firstly, he would say Cher was living in alienation. The concept of alienation means that someone is alienated from God because they are too distracted by the material world and not focused enough on living with direction. In Cher's case, she starts the movie obsessed with shopping, beauty, and material things. She's separated from reality. However, Kierkegaard would admire Cher's eventual individuality. Kierkegaard thought of individuality, or selfhood, as a realization of the true nature of oneself. This refers to finding yourself, not letting yourself be defined by other people or by society. At the beginning of the movie, Kierkegaard would not consider Cher to have much individuality, because she is so focused on what others think of her. Later on, though, Cher is able to define herself and find her own purposes that come only from herself, not from her friends or the expectations of the other popular kids. Kierkegaard would also comment that Cher seems to demonstrate his theory of the 3 stages of life. He believed many people lived in the first stage, known as the aesthetic stage. In this stage, people lived vainly, like Cher at the beginning of the movie. She lives her life obsessed with false pleasures and fantasy, such as when she falsely inflates her grades by deceiving her teachers, or when she uses shopping as a distraction from reality. That lifestyle ultimately leads to despair. Cher feels frustrated with her life and empty. She seeks what she calls a new project. Cher then enters the second stage of life Kierkegaard believed in, called the ethical stage. Kierkegaard believed that after living for pleasure felt hopeless, people often turn to ethics. This means that people would make their own moral code to follow God. During this stage of life, the person begins to become self-aware. They find more direction in life. People in this stage especially begin to improve themselves and others. We can see that in Cher. She stops shopping and starts helping others. She helps 2 of her teachers find love, helps her dad with work, and takes the new girl at school, Ty, under her wing. Cher begins to live her life based on what's right and what's wrong. The third stage of life is the religious stage, which is a little less clear in Cher's case. For the sake of comparison, we can pretend that, when she goes to a wedding at the end of the movie, she enters a religious stage, which is when the person devotes herself entirely to God. In summary, Cher's journey from a selfish, ignorant life without direction to a purposeful and ethical young woman perfectly illustrates the philosophical concepts Soren Kierkegaard worked so hard to promote.
Created using Powtoon.